So, when it comes to roofing and insurance, they've had this kind of strange relationship that seems to be, it's like insurance apparently by law is required to pay out for roof damage. And some insurance companies do so reasonably freely. Um, some adjusters seem to be, very fine with, you know, saying, yep, looks like there's hail damage, get a new roof. Other companies are less so. It's very heavily regulated. And here in North Texas, basically the expectation is, I mean, within every 5 years, pretty much, my roof's going to get hail on it. So basically, I never expect to pay full out of pocket for a new roof. I just expect to use my insurance. Well, more recently, with deductibles going from 1% to 2 or 3%, suddenly that's a very different equation. So now that whole concept of, I'll just use my insurance and pay for my new roof, depending on the price of your home, etc., it's just not quite as attractive of an option as it used to be, depending on what your deductible is. So it does behoove you, when you're looking at your insurance policy, to really check out and see what that deductible is and whether it's good. And also, longer ago I didn't put a lot of research into which companies actually honored claims well. I just I was mostly like, whatever's cheapest, but I wanted something that would actually pay out if I needed to, right? Those was somewhat of a thing, but I wasn't real concerned about it. Mostly I was just like, yeah, let me just check the box of insurance and make sure I've got decent coverage on it, right? And knowing what I know now, I've got one of my clients that's a roofer, and so I've learned more about things. We've also had some claims, and so now, that would be basically the first thing I would check is well, does this company have a good reputation for honoring claims? Are they really slow to, are they really, really stubborn about paying? They really, try to avoid claims at all costs, or are they very workable? And they do, as long as there's evidence of damage and then everything lines up, then they'll pay it out. It's not a lot of drama. So ultimately, if there's some things you can do with a public adjuster and some things like that to give you some options, but on the whole, if the adjuster denies your claims, you're pretty much out of luck. That's basically what it comes down to. So you want companies where they're not aggressively conditioning their adjusters to be denying everything. So yeah, pretty big deal to know what the track record is of of the insurance company that you're using, and what's the customer satisfaction like? Do they treat their customers right? And then also, it's important to know what your deductible is, and whether depending how you plan to use your insurance, you're going to want to know, what your deductible situation is there. A little distracted. I think there was a guy walking down the street who just kind of took a tour of my neighbor's carport there, and don't believe that was he was invited in to look at the carport. So not quite sure what all was going on there, but anyway. So that's my words of advice on your home insurance.